ordinance committee. So that's already been done. And as I understand it, from conversations I've had with some of you, you wish to show respect to the people who came here tonight. Because after all, on Friday at 5 o'clock, the city attorney made the city clerk give notice, and some of us read that notice, and we said, well, we want to come here. And so all these people came in the rainstorm, and as I understand it, the city council wants to give some respect to the people that are here to hear from them. But there will be no immediate action. Right? Okay. All right. Well, since I didn't know when I got here, you heard me earlier talking, Clyde Nicholson was nice enough to give me his 5 minutes so that I could begin and speak to you, because I didn't think you were going to have a hearing. So now you did. You heard my first part about the notice. And I wanted to explain to all of you, but it's really not that critical right now, because you're not going to make an immediate decision. Because I imagine that the mayor and the city attorney realized that after they looked at the charter, that you need 3 days for a public hearing. So you were not going to be able to do that tonight anyway. So it didn't happen. What I did was earlier, and for the record, this part of the record, I'll say it again, I passed out the contract. I don't know if any of you have had an opportunity to look at that contract, especially what is task order number 1. And that's the thing that is very alarming to me, because on June the 14th, your contracts committee met, and your contracts committee asked questions. And I always remember Ms. Feliciano, the kinds of questions that she asked. And she was told that they didn't have those answers. So in response to a Freedom of Information request, I got a contract that's dated June 1st. So and it's signed. And I gave each of you a copy of that tonight so that you could look at it. You could see a task order number 1. So it appears to me that something is not right there, okay? If in fact it was signed and all of you met and you asked questions and you weren't given that information, it's a sad word, but that's a no-no. That's a fraud on the city council to have that information. Now, the task order 1 that you were shown specifically excluded the office that laws have on State Street. But this June 1st contract includes it. And it also says, just to give you an idea of how much money Laws is going to make on this, all right? From November 1st of last year, 2016, to October 31st of this year, they're going to make $385,000. And you heard from Calvin that it's basically something to give advice and to consult. But then the real interesting one is that they get to increase it every year. And then the last clause, you see where it says, at the end of each contract year, the consultant shall receive additional compensation equal to 9% of annual system-wide meter and citation revenue collected above $1,900,000. So there's a little commission in there. And there's also, I've been trying to get some numbers, and I've asked the city attorney's office for that, because the ordinance that you passed, I gave the information to John Lee, and he's doing some numbers, and he'll come and speak about those numbers. Thank you, John. I'm not really that good with numbers, but I know that they're not making sense, so I gave it to him, because we all know that he's the one that looks at all those numbers. So in any event, I think that your concern has got to be, how was it signed on June 1st? And if it wasn't, if it was signed in November, then why didn't they come back and show you these things? You were asking for that. And respectfully, I say to all of you that I have a feeling that in this city, whether it's this mayor or any mayor, there's a massive disrespect to the city council. Proof is that it was already advertised that this morning the meters were all changed. And I went down and looked at the meters, and they did. So that means that this administration does not even need you. They can just go and change it without you approving it. And at some point, you've got to stand up and say you're not going to let them do that. So in any event, I know that John Lee wants to come up with some numbers that he did quickly, because I just gave him that information. And I am revoked the contract and on what happened. They rushed you through this last year. They rushed you through it. You gave 24 hours notice for a meeting on one of these ordinances. You can't do that to the people of the city of Bridgeport. They're waking up.
That's right.
And so we don't want this anymore. I want to thank Ms. Martinez because I know that there was a lot of pressure, as I understand it, for you not to have the public hearing from the powers that be, but you held your guns, and that's the beginning. And I will support you always when you act like the legislative